You know, you have a friend, and that friend to everybody else is just an ass, but you love them because you know the true them. That was what Helen was to Carol. Helen understood Carol, said, look, I know you some trash for real, but I love you. I get you. I want to protect you. I'm going to give you some sort of levity as well as balance because right now we just have unhinged Carol, and Helen was the quintessential voice of reason. Now she doesn't really have that. It was Rashad, the Upon Further Review. We're on episode number 3 of Pluribus on Apple TV Plus. Name of the episode is Grenade. All spoilers. Got to talk about a thing to talk about a thing. Number 1, this is a great show. And I'm hoping that people are watching this. I'm kind of getting mixed sort of reviews just from my own, the channel's page when it comes to just interaction with this content. But I don't care. I'm going to talk about it, man, because I'm having fun watching it. So episode 3 is essentially like just the fallout from the first 2 episodes of this sort of very nice apocalypse that happened, and everybody's super kind under one hive mind. And now Carol is trying to really make sense of the mechanics of the world that she lives in now. And I think the main theme of this episode is, when is it the right time to say no? Because the world is under this guise of like nicety or like, kindness politics, to where everything has to be under this purview of like utopic feeling. If it doesn't make somebody feel well, then we're not doing it. If it's not in somebody's desires to do, then we're not doing it, which is very interesting because everybody else is online with what the hive wants to do, except for the people who are not a part of the hive yet. And interestingly enough, we didn't have any real interaction with anybody from outside of the hive this episode. We just had she made a phone call to one dude that was down in, I don't know, some country, Spanish speaking place. And he was not really trying to talk. This is even after Zosia was like, yeah, we found him kind of late and he don't really want to talk to us at all. So other than that, it was just Carol back home and Carol trying to figure out how is she going to manage her life now. And just the intrusive nature of the hive or the others, as they call it on the show. Like, she's having a really hard time with this because Carol is that type of person where, okay, you know, you have a friend and that friend to everybody else is just an ass, but you love them because you know the true them. Like, that is the epitome of who Carol is. Like, Carol and her, I'm guessing like her partner, spouse, I'm not sure if they were actually married or not. I can't really see if they were married, but Helen, that was what Helen was to Carol. Helen understood Carol, said, look, I know you some trash for real, but I love you. I get you. I want to protect you. I'm going to give you some sort of levity as well as balance, because right now we just have unhinged Carol, and Helen was the quintessential voice of reason. Now she doesn't really have that. And I'll get to that. I get to why in a second. Hence the name of the episode, Grenade. And Carol's back at home. She's really trying to figure out how I'm going to work in my mind, like how this is going to be. And she calls up Carol. Matter of fact, Carol comes over and he tells them, no, I'm sorry. They leave her food. And she's like, man, I don't even want this food. I just want to make my own food. Like, I want to, be able to do for myself. I'm super independent. I fend for myself. But ironically, she doesn't really fend for herself because the way the world works, everybody's relying on somebody. And this another theme of the episode too is like, as much as you're trying to be an isolationist, you still need help. And you still need to be acquiescing to a certain level of help. And Carol has a problem with that. Even in her prior privileged state before the world changed, that's how her mentality was. Like, I'm doing this all for myself, it's for me. Even her fans and people that adored her, she kind of looked at them and kind of despised them, thought they were stupid because the thing that she wrote and made, like, gave them joy. She couldn't figure out or understand, like, why is this stupid book? Like, why I love this book so much? Like, it's dumb. And she kind of like looked down on them. But now, seeing how everybody knows what her actual thoughts are and the thoughts that she's had via Helen, like, she's fully exposed. So there is no hiding at all right now. And Carol's trying to, go back into her proverbial shell. And she's having a really difficult time dealing with that notion of independency, because the world on the show it's like the perfect model of interdependency. Even when she goes to the store and says, hey man, like, ain't no food here, I gotta figure this out, let me know when I need to come back. And Zosia's like, we'll be there in a few minutes. And then this whole group of people come and they restock the store. Then she goes fake shopping, goes home, make, like, I don't know, like she made like a TV dinner or something, microwave some food up, and then it's back to back to watching Golden Girls, which is a very, very comfort show for a woman of her age. Or shoot, we're probably about the same age in real life. But yeah, like, definitely going back to some DVDs because, TV ain't on no more unless you want to watch, the person that's over the Department of Agriculture or whoever that guy was from the first episode. So she's watching that. Boom, lights go out, lights come back on. Carol pulls up in the 82 Toyota Tercel and says, hey man, like, we sorry. We're just doing some conservation stuff. You know what I'm saying? You don't need to have all these lights on. Only things that are essential are going to be on. She said, unless you want all the lights on. And that right there really sparks this almost like righteous, not even righteous, it's just like this kind of like indignation within Carol to kind of really talk about what's going on. Like, hey, like, basically, like, she can't figure out why the hive is so nice to her. And she wants to be in conflict with the hive because that is that's the totality of her life, is being in conflict with something. And they even had a flashback of her and Helen when they went to this ice hotel in Norway, and like Helen is like really taking it in and she's having a great time, even in bed made of ice. Carol is a curmudgeon. They got Aurora Borealis. Shout out to the lights that happened this week in real life. And she's just not having a good time. And Helen, on the other hand, is like really just living in the moment. And there's a part where she's talking to Carol and she's kind of going over all these moments that she had in her real life. But she realized that she wasn't living those moments because she just was probably didn't want to be there, or was her mind was distracted. Like, even when she was in Norway and someone from the publisher called, said, yeah, you in the top 20 bestseller. And she was like, like upper half or lower half? Like, it's a difference. And Helen's like, man, you're insufferable, yo. Can we just enjoy the time we have right now? And she just really can't allow herself to really honestly just to be happy. And that is a very And for some people, shoot, even for me sometimes, that's a hard thing to do. Like, especially when you're so used to having to fight and grind and do things you don't want to do the things that you really want to do. Like it can be difficult. And Carol is really having the most difficult time trying to understand. Also, the hive is having a difficult time trying to communicate with Carol. Because during this conversation, the prior conversation that Zosia has where he's like, yeah, man, the best thing you guys can do is like come and bring me a grenade. And Zosia comes back with an actual grenade. And of course, they put the grenade on. She said, you can bring a grenade in the house, puts the grenade on the table. And then we have Chekhov's grenade. And by the end of the conversation going back and forth, Carol grabs the grenade, takes off the pin, unclicks, and very calmly Zosia's like, hey, give me that, throws out the window. We need to, get on the ground. So boom, explosion, glass, shards of debris hit Zosia's back. And somebody comes and takes us to the hospital. And after when she's in the waiting room in this hospital, it's this black kid, he can't be older than like 25 years old with a DHL outfit, comes up and starts talking to her. And she said, hey, man, so she's going to be okay. A little bit of blood loss, no actual nerve damage. She's going to be fine. Just have a concussion. We should watch that. And Carol says, look, man, like, if I say I want another grenade, would you give it to me? He's like, yeah. And Carol goes, even after what happened last night with the grenade, you would still give me another grenade. And the guy responds back to him, sure would. And then she kind of just keeps on upping the ante for the degree of destruction of a weapon. Says like a bazooka. Then she says, if I wanted an atomic bomb, would you give it to me? And you can see where the hive mind wants to say no. But the way the hive works, it's really wanting Carol to make a better decision. And that's the push and pull. That's the tension that Carol is having. Carol needs somebody to make definitive decisions. That's what Helen was. Helen says, no, we doing this thing. Because come on now. Because even if you think about the trip to Norway, that's like the basis of like the episode. That's the general thesis. If Helen had a choice in the matter, if Carol had a choice, they never would have won. Never. Pretty sure Helen said, hey, I want to go to Norway. I want to take you. We're going to Norway. And because Carol has an affection for Helen, she reluctantly agrees. Now, that part of the decision making, or at least the very, very small circle of people she had, gone. Because the story also has not said that Carol had family, which I find strikingly odd. Has been no talk of a family. No sister, no aunt, no little cousin, no mom, dad, none of that. Just only person that we know that she had a tie to was Helen. So Helen was her family. Family's gone. And now we have these very overly affable people being like super altruistic to a detriment. And I think that's what Carol is struggling with. Like, I need you to say no, but you don't want to say no because you think saying no is going to bode as a negative. When saying no sometimes really acts as a check and a balance. Because right now, Carol needed to be checked by the grenade. And because somebody checked her, she could be out of balance. And you can easily see how, because she's starting to realize what Kumba from the second episode realized. I can essentially do what I want. And if for all intents and purposes, this may continue on for the next couple of weeks or the next couple of years, because until the hive mind can figure out how to actually change these people and get rid of their immunity to the new RNA strand, they can do whatever the heck they want to do. Like, that's the crazy part. Like they really could destroy everything because the hive can't say no. And somebody who can't say no is two things. One, they're very weak. And then two, they are dangerous because they will do anything that somebody else says, regardless of the consequences. And of course, Carol, just like Kumba, they're going to start pushing that and seeing how far they can go with getting what they want or having their way, or really positioning themselves as the person who's going to get their way and take advantage of them being immune. Because it's like the function of how it works again is it ain't going to tell you no. So you have free reign to operate however you want. And that whole notion right there, man, like, that's real, because some people, they have a difficult time saying no. Like, whether it be like a leader or whether it be like a parent or whoever, like the inability to say no is such a horrible thing, because then you don't have any boundaries. If you can't say anybody no, you are liable to do anything to please people. And Carol really has never been in the people pleasing business. So this whole like, ain't nobody gonna tell me no, ain't nobody gonna check me. Because people that aggressive always need somebody to be just aggressive, matching energy with them and saying, hey, these is my boundaries, y'all. Like, I understand you are who you are, but like, look, this is where I stand. And this is how this is gonna play out for me. I need you to respect me as I respect you. And Carol ain't got that no more because Helen's dead. So that whole hive mind, I can't say no, Carol needing or trying to understand like how this works and how far she wants to take it, that's going to be a very interesting next few episodes to see, because the really big thing this episode was, of course, I'm stocking the store for her in regards to like scale to how fast that the hive mind works. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting, man. Like, another solid episode so far of this season. I think there's 9 episodes total. So we're gonna be for the next few weeks. Hopefully I can find somebody else that watches. I can get them on so we can talk about it together and have like a real like back and forth. But until then, I'm gonna be doing this solo, just like back in like the OG days of the channel, man. But yeah, that's all I got for this one. We will see you, man, hopefully on Monday. Trying to see you running, man, this weekend. And if me and Tony see that, then we'll definitely review that for you on Monday. But yeah, that's all I got. Go back on the channel. Got mad stuff on the channel, man. I mean, we reviewed so many things this year. End of the year show coming real soon. Tell us what our favorite things were, what our worst thing was, what snuck up on us. And, probably like, one of our favorite, pop culture moments, like outside of just, movie and TV. But yeah, other than that, man, that's all I got. See you next time.